Hi dudes, I'm Brooke, and I enjoy staying in hotels. I love traveling, and I also like being in a nice clean environment where everything's taken care of and it has a nice big lobby and maybe even a cute attached bar or a restaurant if I'm lucky. And for this reason, I've never really particularly cared for Airbnbs or VRBOs or similar things. Wait, is it Verbo or VRBO? Hold on, I gotta look that up so I don't look like a fucking idiot for the rest of this. Okay, I guess you're supposed to pronounce it Verbo, so Verbos, whatever. Don't make your company an acronym of only consonants if you want me to pronounce it like a name. Anyway, I understand the appeal of these services, but 99 out of 100 times, it doesn't outweigh a hotel for me. Airbnb, and what's apparently pronounced Verbo, used to offer a way for you to stay in a home instead of a hotel, for often much less expensive than a hotel. And people liked this for a bunch of different reasons. If you're traveling somewhere and you want to feel like you're living there for the time being, instead of feeling like a tourist, staying in a home in a residential area can let you cosplay a local while you're there. And these companies also often offered much larger living arrangements than hotels did, so if you had a big group going on vacation, you could rent out an entire house where everybody has a room but you're all still together, but for all in much cheaper than you would buying individual rooms at a hotel. Airbnb and Verbo also used to have cool and unique places that you could stay, like a mini house that's literally on the ocean in Florida, or like a UFO that you can actually stay in Mexico, or of course, this nut in Texas. You want to stay in this guy's nut for the weekend? Can't do that in a hotel. Well, while you can still definitely find interesting stays and get certain benefits from Airbnb and Verbo and the like, the overall user experience has shifted quite a bit. And honestly, guys, I'm just gonna start saying Airbnb as a catch-all for any of these types of sites for brevity, because most of the videos I'm gonna use as examples today are from Airbnb hosts anyway. And honestly, the fact that Verbo wants me to pronounce it Verbo when it's literally an acronym full of straight-up consonants is pissing me off. Imagine I find out that Airbnb wants me to pronounce it Airbnb. Anyway, before I get fully into it though, let me take a moment to tell you about today's sponsor, NordVPN. Today's video is sponsored by NordVPN. Dudes, you may think you're really smart, and you clicked on this video, so you definitely are, but even the smartest people can fall victim to online threats, and there are a lot of threats online. But with NordVPN, you can stay safer online with a single click. With NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro, you can stay safe from phishing, scams, and malware. For example, if you're anything like me, you're shopping online a lot, and it can be easier than you think to fall for a fake shop scam. And regular VPNs don't protect you against fake web stores, but Threat Protect Pro does. NordVPN was actually ranked 3rd in AV Comparative's Fake Shop Detection Test in 2024, beating away other premium cybersecurity tools. All you have to do is enable Threat Protection Pro on your device, and it will warn you if you're about to stroll into a fake shop in any browser. And not only does NordVPN protect you, it also helps you out when you're traveling. If you're on vacation in a different country for a bit, and your favorite streaming service doesn't have your favorite show that it usually has in your home country, you can enable NordVPN on a location back home, in my case, the US, and watch the shows you love. And right now, you can get a huge discount with the purchase of a 2-year plan, plus 4 extra months at nordvpn.com/brookesharks. It's also risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. So don't miss out on this deal at nordvpn.com/brookesharks. I am so serious, you guys. nordvpn.com/brookesharks. Thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring today's video. Now back to me. Anyway, like I said, the user experience at Airbnb and similar sites has changed drastically. For most of Airbnb's history, it only showed the nightly rate in search results and excluded all of the other fees until the final checkout. This often resulted in a huge difference between what you expected to pay and what you actually ended up paying, because there are service fees, cleaning fees, taxes, sometimes pet fees, etc. This was especially annoying because when you did filter your search by price, say you wanted to spend no more than $100 per night, you'd get results for bookings whose nightly prices were up to $100, but then after all the fees would far exceed that. This is called drip pricing, and it's super fucked up because sites that do this shit do it intentionally, because they know that you don't have the time and energy to go through every single home in that search all the way to the checkout page just to figure out the price. So people have no choice but to try and rely on the base price shown and kind of hope for the best with the fees. It wasn't until April of 2025, so just last year, that Airbnb finally made the total price display the default. And while that's great and all, being able to see how much you're being charged in fees doesn't change the fact that a lot of hosts charge fees that are as much, if not more, than their nightly rate, which is a very tough pill to swallow when booking. It's kind of like when you go to buy something that's $20 with free shipping, you're like, hell yeah, sounds good. But if you went to buy that same thing for $10 and then $10 shipping, you'd be like, what the fuck? I don't want to pay the same amount for shipping that I'm paying for the product itself. Maybe that's just me. But speaking of the fees, as I mentioned, one of those fees is a cleaning fee. This is of course because Airbnb hosts don't have housekeepers on staff the way that hotels do. So the expectation is that the absorbent amount of money that you pay with that cleaning fee is going towards professional cleaners that will clean the space after you check out. Except the thing is, they often don't hire professional cleaners.
My mom and I clean the Airbnb before they get there, so I know myself that it is clean. They asked to check in early, which we accommodated pretty much immediately. They had messaged us to complain about the fact that there was dog poop in the yard, which is our fault, and also, like, it's not that big of a deal.
If I'm dealing with a lot of one-night stays, I actually don't mop after every single guest.
A lot of these hosts are charging their guests hundreds of dollars for cleaning fees to cover the time that they spend cleaning up after the guest leaves. I know this because there have been so many hosts that have gotten on TikTok and recorded themselves bitching and moaning about how they're gonna have to clean up their Airbnb that they rented out.
I have been an Airbnb host for 2.5 years. Those of you who are commenting on my video saying, this is not that bad, how could you expect someone to clean up after themselves? They're on vacation. Nobody wants to do dishes or clean up their garbage when they're on vacation. You should not go on vacation. You should stay at home. Because if you cannot clean up after yourself, like a grown adult, you don't deserve to stay in an Airbnb or in a hotel. Because guess what? The maids are also not there to literally deep clean everything. I mean that. My cleaning fee assumes that I have to clean the house for 2 hours after your stay, regardless. When you are staying at an Airbnb, you are staying at someone's personal property. They own that property. They own everything in the house. So your rate and your fees include wear and tear of that property, the basic cleaning that has to be done. If there's extra cleaning involved, that is an extra fee, because guess what? If I wasn't the house cleaner of my Airbnb and I had to hire a cleaning service, I wouldn't have had to pay them for 2 hours to clean yesterday. I would have had to pay them to clean for 5.5 hours. And guess what? That's going to cost me extra. So if that costs me extra as an Airbnb host, that's not a cost that I'm just willing to eat.
But the gag is that Airbnbs also have these ridiculous lists of chores that they require you to do before you check out. So you basically have to clean the place up yourself and then also pay that cleaning fee.
Y'all, I cannot believe this fuck-ass Airbnb has a rule that's requirement that you have to start a load of laundry before you check out. Like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? I hate this site. Yes, I do the cooking. Yes, I do the cleaning face ass. Like, what the fuck? First of all, let's talk about how I have to do this in fucking Mike Myers' shed. Rock Nation and Airbnb, you will crumble!
Some hosts have gotten so demanding with their checkout instructions that they're basically asking you to deep clean the entire place before your 10 a.m. checkout anyway. And obviously, this pisses people off. It seems like most of the hosts are mad because they're using the cleaning fee as an excuse to make more money that they can just pocket, and then they're pissed when they actually have to spend it on cleaning. But what's really fucked up is that if you take a stand and decide that you paid a fat cleaning fee and it's not fair that you need to clean an absurd amount, like doing laundry or vacuuming, you risk that host leaving you a negative review, which can make it so that other hosts think that you're an asshole and they won't let you book with them. And that brings me to another huge issue that people have with Airbnb. A lot of times people are afraid of retaliation for leaving honest reviews, which leads to a lot of reviews that are just overwhelmingly positive and leave out actual helpful criticism or concerns for other guests.
Why? Why are people like this? First non-5-star review in my brand new property. Come on. An okay stay? Please go read the rest of my reviews. Everybody has said that they had an amazing time. Water pressure in shower. It's a rainfall shower head. I've never seen one with high pressure.
This is similar to the superhost issue. The superhost badge is a badge that a host receives on their profile when they meet a certain type of criteria, which is a 4.8 plus star rating, 10 or more stays, a less than 1% cancellation rate, and a response rate of over 90%. This functions as a signal to guests, but it also gives them benefits like increased search visibility, higher earning potential, and more. And because the criteria requires such good ratings, a lot of hosts freak out about their ratings because they don't want to lose their status as a superhost. Some even go as far as harassing guests to give them positive reviews.
My Airbnb host is harassing me to delete my review, but I didn't even leave a bad review, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm not even the kind of person that would normally leave reviews, but I checked out of this Airbnb yesterday, and since then I've already gotten like 5 messages from this host being like, please review me, please review me. So I did, and shocker, be careful what you wish for. I was honest. Oh my god, I gave a 4-star review overall, because it was a nice stay, but not worth 5 stars. There were 2 main issues, I think. One was that it was freezing, and the thermostat was capped at a certain temperature, so it was like always 62 degrees, and the other is the place had an overpowering air freshener scent, and I was like, I bet this is covering up a really bad smell. And sure enough, when I left, all of my clothes, everything I brought has this like gross smell. I have to like wash it all. So just that right there, I was like, I probably wouldn't go back. So like, I'm not gonna give 5 stars to somewhere I wouldn't go back to. Anyways, I left this review, and 1 minute later, I started getting inundated with message after message from this host being like, please remove your review. Here's step-by-step how to do it. Contact Airbnb support. And then like gaslighting me about the issues, being like, well, if it was so bad, like, why didn't you tell me in the moment? Why wait until you had to leave a review? They were like, I don't know what smell you're referring to, but our place is brand new. Like, respectfully, it was like the most rundown old house ever. But anyways, they were like, if you don't remove your review, like, we're gonna lose our superhost rating, like, it really impacts us. But then I was reading online a little bit, and it kind of makes it seem like the Airbnb rating system is like a 4-star is actually a lot worse than it seems. Like, it's kind of unfair like that. So I'm kind of torn what to do. Like, it's weird that they're harassing me, but also I don't want to really negatively impact their business like more than I intend to. But I did leave like a well-rounded, honest review. I was like, it was a good location, it was well stocked, etc. But like, these are my 2 issues. So I don't know.
And it's like, you know what you can do to keep your superhost status? Be a good host and just maintain your property for your guests and actually allow them to use your thermostat. And speaking of being a good host, if you guys think I've been a good host of this video, you could consider subscribing. If you're new here, we are actually trying to right a patriarchal wrong, which is that Mr. Beast has more subscribers than I do, due of course to misogyny. So we are working together to beat him. #SharksBiteBeasts. Please subscribe. Thank you. While I'm sure Airbnb puts as many policies in place as it can to ensure listings need to be correct and that hosts need to be professional and respectful of guests, there's only so much you can do with the way that this system is set up. If anything does go wrong, the only fixes are reactive and not proactive. For example, if you check into an Airbnb and the listing was completely wrong and the host isn't helping you fix anything, even if Airbnb customer service refunds you immediately from there, not only are you not going to get that refund immediately, but you're still stuck at the day of your vacation with your travel plans fucked up. And if it's a situation where you literally cannot stay there, now you're in a position where you're having to try and find another accommodation extremely last minute. And even if you can, they're going to be way more expensive because you didn't book ahead.
I'm having a nightmare Airbnb experience right now, and I'm not sure what to do. Let's start with the fact that the Airbnb, before we even got here, the host upped the price by $300 as we were booking. Like the same day that we were requesting and ready to book for a month, she just upped the price $300. First of all, the coffee table had termites around the leg, and we knew they were termites because the first day we got here it was a very small pile, and then a few days on its own it just grew to this. I took the time to sweep it up and go downstairs and try to get rid of them down the sink so that they wouldn't get on any more wood. And then when she saw me doing that, she took the dustpan out of my hand, and when I tried to tell her they were termites, she's like, it's okay, took them and threw them on a tree in the yard. That's one quirk. The shower leaks, and I'm not talking drip drip drip. I'm talking it can probably fill up 2 gallons in a day. And then we keep running out of water every few hours. When I asked about that, she told me that's normal because of the water pressure. And this is not the first time she's trying to gaslight us into thinking that a problem is not a problem. When we first got here, the Wi-Fi just was not working. We weren't able to get any work done when I mentioned it to her, especially because she said the speed was 50 megabytes per second before we joined, and we were getting 6. And when I mentioned this to her, she said, no, I can assure you, I've had 5 years of people working here without a problem. And I'm like, there's a problem, I'm sending you screenshots. And she refused to acknowledge it. I specifically asked her to reach out to the provider, and guess what? There was a problem, and the provider fixed it. after she had tried to convince me that I was the problem. She's monitoring when we are coming and going. And we can't find anything in the area for a similar price anymore because it is so late. Like, we're staying here for a month and it's so hard to find a long-term stay for a similar price on this such short notice. What do? I think we're just gonna stick it out for the month, but like...
Another issue I've seen people complain a lot about with Airbnb is that a guest will book far in advance for an event, and then the host will realize that there's an event and either cancel them so that they can charge someone else more, or raise the price for the original person.
I came on here to rant because there is no reason why an Airbnb host should personally call me and say, hey, I see the day that you booked something. We have a big event coming up that weekend. And I was like, yeah, you do? I knew that you did. I literally had the inside information on when this date was for said event because I work with the company, okay? Keep in mind, I have already booked the reservation 8 months in advance. I've paid for the entire thing in full. And what did they do? He's like, hey, sorry, I cannot rent it to you for the price that we agreed to priorly through Airbnb. I know I could get triple the amount, so I'm going to double it. Are you willing to pay that? And I was like, is this allowed? Like, I genuinely need somebody from Airbnb. Is this allowed? Can a host all of a sudden try to cancel or modify your reservation for the price that you have listed? And, like, he did this not through the Airbnb app. You know what I'm saying? Like, they called me personally. I don't think it should be allowed, but I feel like I'm going to have to pay the price anyways because there's, like, nothing else available for the amount of people that I'm going to have with me. I literally hate people that price gouge. This is ridiculous.
A lot of people have also just had issues with their Airbnb promising way more than they actually get. Some listings even go as far as having misleading photos, like ones widened with lens distortion, straight up edited, or, the worst, changed with fucking AI to make them appear better than they are in real life. Even when the Airbnb is presented correctly though, so much more can go wrong when there's only one person controlling what is supposed to be effectively a bed and breakfast. For example, there have been countless videos of guests who could not get into their Airbnbs with the code they received from the host, and sometimes when they do try and reach out to the host for help, they don't hear anything back, so they're just fucked.
So I'm literally sitting outside the Airbnb that I had booked in St. Petersburg because the door code isn't working, the host isn't answering, and the residents that live here said that there was a guy here the other day and he ended up leaving because he was out here for over 2 hours and the door code never worked and the host never contacted him.
I even came across this one of a host telling on herself for this happening to one of her guests, and the guest having to sleep in her car with her dog.
We just had our first ever hosting nightmare for our in-home Airbnb. We had one guest and one dog scheduled to stay the night last night, and we don't even usually interact with our guests, but we actually did meet this guest in passing, and she was super nice. She did, however, have an issue getting into the door with our door code, which we've never had an issue with before, but she said it wasn't working for her, so we went ahead and unlocked the door for her and sent her the check-in instructions again. She acted like everything was working great, and I didn't double check to see that she'd actually used the code to make sure it worked. She left for the evening, everything was great, we went to bed, but I woke up in the morning and I saw some messages in the Airbnb app and my heart dropped. The code was not working for her again when she got in late last night, and she was not able to get into the Airbnb, so she spent the night in her car with her dog, which was heartbreaking, and I ran down there first thing this morning to check on her and see if I could get her in, and sure enough, the code was not working. I still haven't figured out what went wrong. We set the code just like we always do, and she was so gracious and so kind, and she said multiple times we did not need to refund her, but this was not her fault at all, and so we actually gave her a full refund for the night that she was here. She was able to come in early in the morning and get some rest. I am fully expecting less than 5 stars for this review, which is really disappointing, and we're going to have to figure out something so that we make sure this never happens again. Typically, one of us is up late in the night, so we would have seen the messages, but both of us went early. So it was the perfect storm. I really care about the guest experience, so I'm super bummed this happened, but she was so kind about it.
Like, dude, I feel like she's owed more than just a refund, because that's fucking insane. Or alternatively, there have been people who've shared their experiences of realizing that the host for their Airbnbs doesn't change the code in between guests, so any previous guest could just access the property. There are also just smaller things that you get as a benefit from a hotel that you don't get with Airbnb. For example, if you arrive earlier than your check-in time and you have luggage, a hotel will hold it for you. And Airbnb is not going to do that. If there's something wrong with, say, the shower or something in your hotel room, they'll just move you to another room, no problem. It's these little conveniences that you get when you're in a hotel because they actually prioritize hospitality. And that's the thing. The biggest issue that people tend to have with Airbnbs is the entitlement from the hosts. It's as if somebody is forcing them to rent their home out against their will. Like, there are some hosts that will control the air conditioning or the heat from their phone and not allow the guests to adjust it, or lock the thermostat at a certain minimum or maximum temperature, like the guy earlier mentioned in his review, or who will monitor you on the cameras the entire time while you're there.
I just kicked out my Airbnb guests for the first time ever, no refund, and immediately made them leave the property. I am kicking myself for giving a one-night stay because we never do that. We're coming in from out of town, needed a place to stay overnight. They agreed to paying the $225 cleaning fee and a couple $100 to stay overnight. We had a 4-day break. It's a Sunday. What's the worst that can happen? Get a Ring notification, and I see this over my cameras. I've never had this happen before where guests wanted to take whatever, the cloth or whatever this is, put it on the exterior cameras, which are facing the driveway and facing the front porch only. I have disclosed that we do have outdoor cameras. There shouldn't be a surprise there. I'm also kicking the fact that I do not state this explicitly in my renter agreement. You guys can see here, I do say that I can literally kick you out at any time if they violate any terms of this agreement. I did quote number 7, that the guest should be using my property in utmost integrity to make a guest ready for the next people. And this is not doing that. I brought this to the guest's attention that we do not allow this. Get your covering off my camera. And he said he did. And then I see this moments later, messing with my internet. I even let the guests check in early, told them that they have to leave immediately, but I have no way to know if they actually have. So I think what I'm going to do is just call the sheriff tonight, do a wellness check on my property to make sure they left, but I'm honestly a little afraid that any retaliation, I don't know. We've never also had any guests stay long period. It's a short-term rental place, but covering the cameras, one night stays, my head's going a million miles an hour. When I have an update, I will get one.
Or some hosts will put up rules in every room to make sure you aren't, living in the house.
Well, all the please remove shoes. They have here's some more signs of all the rules. And let's just say they go into the kitchen. Here's more signs of more rules. They literally have food. Oh, I forgot some more rules in the refrigerator. Yeah, you don't disturb their owner's food, which is actually in the refrigerator, which is...
in the freezer too.
Yeah, pretty gross. Oh, the signs are all in the bathroom. Here's some more. Here's some more signs. And then the best part I like is that they literally want you to squeegee the shower, even though you pay for cleaning fees. Oh, and do not move the shower head. I mean, seriously, that this place has. It's been, oh, yeah, more rules on the wash machine dryer.
And some hosts will just straight up show up unannounced.
So I'm at an Airbnb because my house is still being remodeled from a flood. That happened 6 months ago. Let me tell you how the Airbnb lost hot water for 2 days. And you see the owners in the back. The owners just keep coming to do yard work in the back. And I have dogs. I rented this so I could have a private yard. Ignore my no makeup face. And they're just here nonstop. And now the internet has gone out. It's crazy. I'm just so unlucky. Also, it's really weird. If you were to rent an Airbnb and the owners came to constantly do work in the backyard, what would you do? Would you be okay with it? Because it's really annoying me. I want to tell them to leave, but it's their house. I don't know. I have one more week here. Should I just get a new one? Literally back there just doing massive amounts of yard work.
But nothing shows this entitlement from hosts quite like the shit that they post online themselves.
Come with me to see how Airbnb guests left the place after a 2-night stay. Let's see. All right. So they used the blanket, which is here, and they must have also used the pizza blanket, which I'll find in a second. They didn't want the chocolates, which that happens sometimes. Okay, so overall, looks good here. Can't really complain. Let's check the kitchen. Okay, so not too bad, not too bad. Looks like they didn't use the coffee. Oh, they did. Okay, they opened it. All right. And then let's check the trash. It didn't take the trash out, which I don't require the guests to, because I just use it when I'm cleaning. All the waters are gone. They were thirsty. Let's check the dishwasher. No dishes. Okay. Left some trash in the trash can.
Where else would it go?
And hopefully they didn't leave any items in the closet. Okay, all good. I'm always scared to check the bathroom. Dun, dun. They left some soap. Okay. I have a question for you. I literally leave 2 rolls of toilet paper in here for a 2-night stay, and which I personally think is more than enough. Toilet paper is always gone. 2 full rolls of toilet paper, 2-night stay, 2 people. Let me know what you think about that.
We gotta stop right there. What the fuck do you mean? You leave 2 rolls of toilet paper for 2 people for 2 nights. Maybe I'm putting myself on blast here because I eat things I shouldn't and give myself tummy aches that I know I'll get. But if I'm on vacation, I'm gonna get Taco Bell. And I'm gonna get a tummy ache. 2 rolls of toilet. Also, like, I'm gonna blow my nose throughout the day. I got allergies. Dude, and also saying that you always come back to it being gone, then stock more. What the fuck do you mean? There were genuinely people in the comments of this video being like, you guys are fucking entitled, expecting your Airbnb host to stock toilet paper for you. Huh? Hello? Are we allowed to walk on the floor? What the fuck do you mean? It's not even a matter of I'm gonna use all the toilet paper. It's the idea that you've put me in a position where now I have to fucking worry about it. Fuck you for that. Absolutely not. No. If I walked into a weekend trip and I saw that my Airbnb had 2 rolls of toilet paper for the entire weekend for my husband and I would be like, well, okay, let's immediately DoorDash toilet paper so we just don't even have to worry about it. And that's so fucking annoying. It's not even that I'm going to use that much toilet paper. I'm not going to shit 75 times. It's just that I don't have to think about it. Like, why am I having to ration toilet paper? Because it's gone. When she says every time it's gone, that this is genuinely making me lose my mind. The fact that she literally says, what do you guys think about that? It's gone every time. Yeah, so stock more. What do you fucking think about that? Are you joking? Oh my god. Insane.
Let's go to the next one. Oh, let's stop here. Looks like they used some of the towels.
Probably to wipe their ass.
All right, first look, what do we think? Definitely could be more tidy.
She seems to be bothered that they didn't make the bed in this room, but isn't it more work for her to undo the made bed because she needs to wash the sheets? I hope. She needs to wash the sheets, so.
Trash in the trash can.
Again with the trash in the trash can thing. Girl, yeah, that's where it goes.
Yeah, man. Probably gonna have to get someone to do the bathrooms. I ain't doing this, bruh. All right, how are we rating these guests? Do have a washer and dryer, and usually is not used for the short stays. Okay, so here's the game plan. I'm going to clean everywhere except the bathrooms and then get someone to clean the bathrooms. I'll do the laundry, and then we'll see how far I get today. I'm just not in the cleaning mood. I'm really not.
I'm genuinely still so bothered by the toilet paper thing. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next one because I can only say so much about that. The idea that she even has to ask what to rate these guests that have completely left the house in immaculate condition other than not making the bed upstairs because it's just going to get stripped and thrown in the wash right now anyway is what is the annoying thing. There's nothing left except taking the trash out and washing the sheets because you need to do that regardless, and then obviously you have to clean it because you have to clean between every guest. What do you mean, what do you rate the guest? What do you mean? All right, let's see what else.
I had an 18-year-old Airbnb guest message me and ask me if she could stay at our cabin. She assured me that there would be no partying, though I was 18 once. You can just never be too sure. And she hasn't responded, and I only have an hour left to accept or deny her request. Here is a recap of her message. Pause to read. I said, I'll get back to you. I said, hey girl, thank you again for being so kind and your transparent message up front. Good kudos on your end, basically. I said, because of our cabin, including features like a hot tub or fireplace, and given that everyone in your group is under 21, we do have a few additional requirements to ensure safety and alignment. Basically, I asked her that every guest will need to sign a basic waiver and agreement that covers the use of hot tub, fire safety, and other cabin amenities. I said no underage drinking is allowed on the property. If any alcohol use by minors is discovered, immediate termination, no refund for the remaining nights, and potential financial liability for any damages or violations. No parties, outside visitors. I said the booking guests, you, are fully responsible in ensuring the group upholds all these rules. I'll send over the waiver and agreement for everyone to review and sign electronically. Basically, I said I need these a month and a half before your stay. Please let me know if you're comfortable with these expectations. I'll get everything sent your way. XOXO. I tried to lighten the load, you know? She didn't respond for an hour, so I said, please let me know your thoughts. Of course, let me double check with everyone in the group and I'll get back to you.
Okay, first of all, I understand being concerned about like a bunch of 18, 19-year-olds like possibly drinking at your property. That's fair enough. But why is she acting like they can't be around a fireplace and a hot tub without like an additional waiver? That's ridiculous. They're adults. Like they can go to war. They're certainly fine to be around a fucking hot tub. That seems a little fucking ridiculous. Also, the condescending, like the booking guest, you, like she's not stupid. She's not 7 years old. You know, she's 18.
Now, if I was very firm in knowing that none of the people in my group would be drinking and we didn't have to worry about it, why would I need to send this to them, you know?
Because you're asking them to sign a contract. Like, I don't know whether or not they're gonna drink, obviously. Like, I totally get the concern of that, but it isn't crazy that she would send it to her friends before she, like, asks everybody to sign a legal document. Weird. Also, I will say she probably should have worded her little contract differently, because in it she says if any drinking by minors is found, and they are technically not minors. They aren't, like, legal drinking age, but I would imagine that that contract wouldn't make sense because they're not minors. They're 18 and 19, so I don't know how that would play out in a court of law. Okay, we have another one.
Our guests from last night just checked out, so we're gonna go check out the Airbnb after their stay. I will say they did check out 17 minutes late, which in the grand scheme of things is not a huge deal, but I have a studio session in 2.5 hours here, and I do have to clean the space before they get here. So it was a big inconvenience for me for them to check out late. I think I'm just gonna put that in their personal review when I do that later, but yeah, let's go see how they left the space. Wait, they left us a review. Okay, it says, we appreciate the peaceful and comfortable home you have shared with us, wishing you much happiness and success. That is very sweet. This is like my favorite part when I come in to see if they wrote us anything, so definitely appreciate that.
They took a few minutes to write in the guest book, and she's gonna write a review being like, they were late.
Looks like they used some of the dishes, which is really good. I don't require them to put up their dishes or anything, just if they'll wash them. And I don't even think I have washed your dishes, but everybody's been doing that, so I appreciate it. They also left us a note on here. It was truly lovely, thanks.
They left a second note. And she's complaining that they were 17 minutes late to checking out.
The trash is not here. Looks like they made up the bed. We don't require them to make up the bed, wash their linens or anything. We just say put your clothes in the hamper, which the hamper is, oh, over there. But yeah, so that's nice of them to do that. Here's the towels, so they're ready to be washed. Overall, these guests were so great. They communicated very clearly. They texted us a sweet message last night and they were like, so thankful for letting us stay. The home is so lovely. But they did check out late, so I don't know how to feel about that. Let me know your thoughts and what you would do if you were in our situation. Okay, bye.
I don't know, man. Probably don't give yourself like 5 minutes in between guests to fully re-clean the entire place. That's on you. They like fully cleaned her fucking whole place, made up their beds, like put the fucking laundry away, left 2 notes, and she's like, you were a little bit late on checking out though. Think you're gonna get 3 stars from me. Okay. Fucking bitch. And last but not least, excuse the fisheye on this next video and the fact that it's mildly sped up. This next one keeps giving me a fucking copyright strike even though it's a fucking TikTok. So I'm sorry, I had to do what I can. It's fair use. I have the right to fucking react to it. So get off my ass, YouTube. All right? Thank you so much. Thank you. I love you. Hey, I love you, YouTube. I love you so much. I love you.
Morning, we're at the Airbnb this morning, and honestly, I'm tired of being a host. So this was like a group of friends that stayed. paid. And they messaged this morning after checkout saying the code didn't work, and then they said never mind, they got it because they forgot something, and then they were trying to get money back because they said a fire alarm was beeping. But we had literally spent like 4 hours here cleaning before check-in and didn't hear the fire alarm beeping one time. And also we could have came and fixed it, and they didn't tell us till after they checked out. So one, I want to see if the fire alarm is beeping, and two, we're gonna see how they left it because we have somebody checking in that's staying 2 nights today. So okay, so walking in, oh, I hear the fire alarm. That was not like that yesterday. We're in the kitchen. Kitchen looks great. So everything down here looks good. Like I said, kitchen looks good. Let's check the fridge. Nothing in the fridge. Nothing in the freezer. They did not eat the ice cream. Crazy work. It's like, I don't understand. If the fire alarm was beeping, why not message us and be like, hey, the fire alarm's beeping. How do we fix this ASAP? And I'd be like, oh my gosh, on the way to fix it.
Why don't these hosts understand that when someone's on vacation or whatever, they don't want you here? If I'm at an Airbnb and I hear the fire alarm beeping and the host is like, oh, I'll come over and fix it, I would rather just deal with it and get a refund for the inconvenience than have the host fucking around at the house the whole time. They don't want you here. No, they do not want you to be dicking around in the space while they're trying to have a vacation. And now you're like looking around like, what are they doing? Oh, like trying to look for clues as to what they were up to before you arrived. No, obviously. Also, I love how she didn't even believe that the fire alarm was going off until she saw it for herself.
And I'd be like, oh my gosh, on the way to fix it. But like, also, a refund? I just am like, what? I said, just like a hotel front desk, if you're saying we have an issue with the property, message the host so we can fix it. Like, some things are just out of our control. Is this the fire alarm that's beeping? Cody's checking the fire alarm. Okay, so definitely replacing this. So we're fixing the smoke detector. If you're ever staying at an Airbnb and there's any problem, message your host. Just like a hotel, the front desk is your host. Like, something's going wrong, something's not right, there's a fire detector beeping, message your host when it starts happening because they can dispatch somebody to come fix it for you. Like, we want you to have a good time. But we can't do anything if you don't tell us until after you check out and say, I want a refund. That's not how this works, and it never will be.
Jelly roll shirt is fucking crazy work, dude. The hosts that get online and complain about their experiences hosting Airbnb and having to do their jobs always get so shocked when the general consensus from the internet is, we don't give a fuck. That's because most people will never be able to afford to buy one house, let alone have a second one to rent out. You want to complain about being an Airbnb host? You should probably join a Facebook group or something of just you guys, because we don't want to fucking hear it. Not only is it a know your audience situation, but it's also that Airbnb is a contributor as to why the housing situation is as bad as it is right now. This happens because when landlords can earn more renting to tourists for 10 days of the month than they do renting to locals for the entire month, guess who they pick? This reduces the housing supply and drives up rent for everybody else. Not only that, but Airbnb properties and the push to drive tourists into certain areas end up changing these areas entirely in favor of the tourist experience. This leads to touristification and gentrification. So when Airbnb hosts get online to cry about how their guest used a blanket, frankly, we don't give a fuck. Alright guys, I'm gonna call it right there. There is still time to get your Navy U2's plushie, but not much time, so get one while you can. She does come with her little shark stuffy as well, so it's like a 2-in-1. The link will be in my description for that. For more videos, check out my second channel, Brookesharks Bites, where I post beauty and lifestyle content. A lot of you guys comment asking if I have a makeup or hair tutorial, and I do on my second channel. I also always put whatever lip I'm wearing in the description of these videos for those of you that are curious. You can also follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and you can join my Patreon. I post some extras over there, and I have a Patreon exclusive Discord. Don't forget to beat the shit out of the like button and murder the subscribe button. And if you're feeling crazy, you can book a hotel with the bell. Bars. I'll see you soon with another video.